Melbourne, where there's a major event underway this morning at the Royal Melbourne Golf Club. It's the President's Cup. It's one of the most important events for the golfing calendar. Certainly the international side are the underdogs going in against Tiger Woods and his team. I caught up with one very big golf fan and one of the key figures organising and overseeing this event this week, the Premier Daniel Andrews.
Look, this is the biggest event in golf this week and one of the premier events in golf, right around the world. This is a really significant event, and we've got hotels, bars, restaurants, they're all full. So many overseas visitors. Ticket sales have been absolutely fantastic here, and Tiger Woods as a captain was a big thing, but as a playing captain, that really seals the deal. And Melbourne and Victorian fans are not just golfing fans, but great sports fans. We're going to see a fantastic atmosphere, fantastic matches out here. And, of course, Royal Melbourne, it's a great gift to the game of golf and a really special place.
Premier, obviously important in terms of the short term with the tourists arriving for the golf, but what it does also, doesn't it, is put the wonderful Melbourne sandbelt, renowned for its quality of golf, on the world stage and promote that as well.
Oh, it is. Look, this is a very, very special place in terms of world golf, and that's why so many people travel so far to complete their golfing resume, as it were. You can't play this sort of golf anywhere else in the world. Firm, fast, tight, tactical golf, really magnificent golf courses, and we put on a really good show. We're very welcoming. We love overseas visitors to come and play this absolutely unique collection of courses. Not just the Sandbelt, Lake Huron. There's wonderful golf down on the Bellarine Peninsula, the Mornington Peninsula, all across Victoria. There's a great golfing culture here, and you can't experience this anywhere else, and that's what brings so many visitors from every part of the world. And as I said, hotels, bars and restaurants are absolutely full this week, and that's great for jobs, and that's why we have these big major events, not just for the golfing tragics like me, but for all the right reasons. Our visitor economy is worth about $25 billion a year, or to put it another way, about 225,000 jobs depend upon events like this one. And that's why we keep them coming, and that's why Melbourne and Victoria we are, without a doubt, the sporting and major events capital of our nation.
Obviously, as you mentioned, a big impact in terms of dollars to the state. What about the immediate impact in dollar terms of the next few days of this President's Cup tournament?
Oh, look, this will be, I think, for the Victorian economy, this will be worth between $50 and $100 million, and that's a really significant injection. And look, the timing's perfect to come just at the end of the year. This is a great way for us to round out the major events calendar off the back of the Spring Racing Carnival and just before Australian Open tennis. So the biggest event in golf, and of course we'll fold straight into Grand Slam tennis, one of the biggest events anywhere in the world. Again, this is just a great opportunity for us to showcase everything that we do well, and everyone goes home happy, and they encourage so many other people to come back, to visit, to spend, to invest, and that's how we keep the Victorian economy strong, and that's how we keep communities strong too.
As a golf tragic, a golf fan yourself, what are the chances for the international team? Obviously, the recent track record not so good. On paper, the US very hard to beat. Yeah, look, we had a dinner on Tuesday night, and I have to say there's a bit of an edge to it. It's not a grudge match or anything like that, but I think that the younger international team under Ernie Els' captaincy, they want this really badly, and I think that he's going to get a lot out of his team. And there's a few Sandbelt specialists. There's some very wise heads around that team as well. Jeff Ogilvie as a assistant captain will be absolutely invaluable. He grew up not far from here, played here hundreds, thousands of times. Els, of course, has got a very good track record in terms of playing around Royal Melbourne. I think they're a young, fresh team. I think it's going to be very tight, and we need it to be. There's been some blowout results in recent years, but I think this is going to be a fantastic set of matches, and golfing fans are in for a treat. Not just the 130 or 40,000 that we're going to have on course, Kieran, but 1.7 billion people across the world tuning in. For those watching this morning that aren't necessarily golf fans, one of the US players, Patrick Reed, was fined 2 shots last week in a tournament. He basically cost him the tournament. What do you think? Will the Aussie fans give him a bit of stick this week?
Well, we'll have to wait and see. I think we're well known for being particularly good sports fans, not just golf fans, but fans of great elite sport. I'm sure people will be treated fairly. They'll get exactly what they're what's owed to them. But look, I don't want to comment on that too much. This is a this is a fantastic event. It'll be played in a good spirit, but it means a lot. It means a lot to represent your country and for those non-European, non-American golfers from the rest of the world, as it were, to get a chance to play a team event. We were locked out of team events for such a long period of time. The President's Cup's really, really special. It means a lot to them. And in talking to some of our guys Tuesday night and since, they're hungry for a win, and I think that Ernie Els will get a lot out of them. And it's just going to be a fantastic week.
So good news anyway that the weather's good and hopefully a wonderful tournament. No doubt it will be over the next few days at Royal Melbourne. On to some other issues. You've got your mid-year budget update being released today. Will the Victorian budget be in surplus?
Yeah, look, it'll report a very strong surplus and there are some challenges though. It'll also report a significant write-down in terms of GST revenue that's available to our state. That's because what we know, what we see and we hear everywhere across Victoria and I think across the nation, that our national economy, there's a real softening there, Kieran, and that's why I'll be having some conversations with Scott Morrison later on today. And I'll again make the point that some no-regret stimulus, things that can happen almost instantly, you wouldn't even need to necessarily do tenders for them, things like school maintenance, road maintenance, hospital maintenance, I think we've got to have a very serious look at that. It's not magic, but it will do. It's a big step to keep people in work. There is a softening in our national economy, and that'll be reflected in the mid-year budget update the Treasurer delivers later today. A surplus still, and a strong one, but a significant write-down in GST revenue because overall spending is down. That softening, I think now's the time to act. If we don't do that no-regret stimulus quite soon, then we may miss the boat to do everything we can to keep Australians and Victorians in work.
And finally, on another matter, as the bushfire crisis continues in many parts of this country, the New South Wales Environment Minister Matt Keane has stepped up his language in terms of linking the fires directly to climate change, and the New South Wales government reportedly set to toughen its targets for greenhouse reductions to 35% by 2030. What do you make of where this debate is right now?
Look, I don't think we need to have a debate. The climate's changing, that's just a fact. Everyone knows that. We've got more intense bushfires, longer seasons, earlier seasons. We've got bushfires, Kieran, on both sides of the world at the same time. That makes it really hard to, some of those choppers and the other assets that we usually lease from the other side of the world, they can't come when we need them because they're fighting bushfires, whether it be in California or somewhere else. We've got a very different challenge. There's no need to debate climate change. It's real, it's having an impact. The real question now is how do we respond? Our firefighters do a great job, but I think there is more we can do. And I've been very encouraged recently to think about how can the Australian Defence Force potentially become involved in some of these issues. How can we work together? You've got to leave the politics out of this. And there's no need to have a climate change debate. It's beyond debate. It's a fact. It's real. And firefighters know it. Communities know it, and now it's a matter of political leadership to match that.
Well, Premier Andrews, good that the weather is fine for the President's Cup over the next couple of days, and here's to a great tournament. Thanks so much for joining us from Royal Melbourne this morning.
Indeed. Thanks very much, Kieran.